Welcome to The Force Always. My name is Diz, aka David Zammit, and this is the review for Fantastic Four First Steps, Marvel's new release. This is one of the drink cups. Yes, I drank a bit of the Kool-Aid. I chose the rock guy, the clobbering guy. It's good. But let me say this. Where do I start with this film? Well, I think I will start at the end, but before I start at the end, straight off the bat, I give this movie 6 out of 10. Now let me give you the reasons why, and starting at the end where I'm going to begin. There was 2 credit scenes in credit at the end of when the credits roll. There's 2 scenes, and there's only partial spoilers in this. I'm not going to give you what's happened in the actual credit scenes, but the first one had something intriguing, something a little bit surprising, something that had a bit of information to it and sort of looking forward to. It was good. Even though, let me give you a general thought, the film was really okay, so this credit scene just was good, really good, but you lost sort of that thing for this Fantastic Four movie by that point. But the second credit scene was an absolute waste of time. All the way to the end, you have to wait for this thing, and it's just a waste. They should have reversed the order of the actual credit scenes. It's not the worst credit scene ever, nothing really is, but there's no information about it. There's nothing to look forward to. It's more of a advertising thing, if you were to say. But anyway, they just really need to work on, really intriguing credit scenes, including both of them, not just one, Anyway. So let me give you the reasons why this was 6 out of 10. Now, I'm a Star Wars guy, not a Marvel guy, or a DC guy. Okay, so, but I enjoy those films. I enjoy movies, as I've said before. I'm a movie person first and foremost, but I also love Star Wars. This is a Star Wars channel, so I'm going to give you it from my own version as a Star Wars kid, what I thought of this film. I think there is a reason why they chose the stylization of the sets and the look and the feel of this film. It does have justification, but I don't think there's actually any real reason behind it. But my suspicion is that because they've attempted to make Fantastic Four a couple of times in the last couple of decades, I think it's an attempt to give a fresh new look. I just don't think it worked. Even though that 60s look, as I would call it, it does look good. The effects were great. The sets did look good, but it just didn't suit the actual, type of film it was. It was a bit flat. It had some great, exterior and interior decoration. If you're thinking of doing this to your own home or neighborhood or whatever, it's great, but it just didn't have any, in my opinion, real relevance. Now the story is very, very basic. This is the thing that really lost me. The story is so basic that good versus bad is so basic that there's nothing exciting about that. The whole storyline was just so basic. The big enemy in this, Galactus, it did, visually look good as a special effect, coming to life. It had weight, it had, technology about it, but the actual Galactus looking enemy to everything in this film was it did look a bit stupid with these stupid horn things that you may have seen already. I thought the Silver Surfer had really corny lines. You know, guys will probably dig it because it's pretty much a naked girl on a surfboard, but you know, painted in silver. There is logic to the story, but it's so basic. You know, there's just films you want to go into and enjoy that sort of basic storyline, whether it's a fantasy film or reality film or whatever. But there's some stories that need to have a bit of, you know, intrigue, you know, complexity to it. And I think the way Marvel was or is meant to be being is, you know, has that sort of interesting storylines in a Marvel comic book way. This one was just so basic, like it was just so straightforward. There was nothing really exciting. I found Pedro Pascal, being a Star Wars fan because he's the Mandalorian. He's a great actor. He's a good actor. You know, he was definitely suited for the part, but I just thought his character did not have a strong leadership feel, and especially how he projected his voice. His voice was very timid, you know, and that's what the character needed in this film. But if he's going to be something like the leader of the Avengers or the new leader or whatever they're going to do, I think it's a bit of a mistake. You know, he needs to sort of harden up and needs to be a bit more strength. Like personally, you sort of get Han Solo in Star Wars having that sort of, you know, leader sort of ship quality. But Pedro Pascal, I just thought he did a fine job. He suited the character, but I just thought the character was just a little bit timid. You know, the rest of the cast was fine. The dialogue was okay. It was just so just basic, so basic. I did think the standout character was not because of being like some sort of unusual looking character, but the Rock guy. Well, I don't know his name. My goodness, the Rock, the guy that's, you know, of rocks. He had an interesting sort of feel to him. That sort of carried pretty good for me. But and there was also in this film a lot of dialogue that was being said without music. A lot of dialogue. Not the whole film has a lot of music, but there was a lot of dialogue in this film without music. And I just think for kids, they're just going to be a bit lost in thinking what's going on. They're not interested. They'll get restless. And personally for myself, you know, I'm a bigger kid in itself, but I just find that the whole it was creating a little bit of a slowness to it. The pacing was still good, but it was just, you know, it just needed a bit more inspiring music. I think the music in this was not really grabbing me for starters. Look, the theatre I was in was packed. It's probably there was the first screening at 6 p.m. today in Melbourne, Australia, and there's the second one which was at 7:30. So the first one had not gotten out at that point. These two first sessions were, a couple extra preview sessions for the actual opening day, which is tomorrow for Melbourne, Australia, and I'd say the rest of the world. It's okay. I don't know if we're going to get a Fantastic Four second steps or whatever they want to do. I think you'll see these characters dwindle out in the Avengers somehow. And that's it. Look, that's my review. Again, 6 out of 10 for Fantastic Four first steps for me. With Star Wars news, look, again, not a whole lot happening at the moment, which is sort of rightly so. They're sort of building up to something that's next year. You know, with the Mandalorian film, I think they're still filming Ahsoka. You know, we're sort of in a dead zone at the moment, but I think it's a good thing. It's going to be a build up to a lot of hopefully great things. I'm wishing that Pedro Pascal is going to be great in this Mandalorian that's coming up. I have seen the actual preview to Mandalorian and Grogu at Star Wars Celebration in Japan, and it really was good. It was good. It was only short. It was more of a section of a scene, and it was good. Like to see it on the big screen with the sound, it's great. You may see it somewhere pirated online. I don't know, but it is good. But yeah, there's nothing that's really happening in the Star Wars universe at the moment. But anyway, that's my review and my news this week with Star Wars and Marvel. But anyway, until next time, my friends, keep rockin'.